Imagine waking up one day and realizing that the people who control your future are not presidents, not prime ministers, not kings, but a small group of tech billionaires. They control the apps you use, the satellites above you, the data about you, and even the experiments that might one day connect directly to your brain. Now add one more layer. What if the internet is right when it whispers that these people are not just rich and powerful, but part of a hidden order, a kind of modern secret society? In this video, we're going to talk about exactly that. We are going to dive deep into the conspiracy theories around Elon Musk and other tech billionaires, and how people connect them to the idea of secret societies and hidden elites. And very important, this is an educational, documentary-style exploration of what people claim and why they believe it. We are not saying these theories are true. We are not making accusations. We are analyzing stories, fears, and narratives that exist online. Think of this as a guided tour through the myths and questions surrounding the digital elite. We will move through three big parts. First, why tech billionaires like Elon Musk naturally attract secret society rumors. Second, the major conspiracy theories that have grown around them, from Illuminati symbolism to Mars colonies and mind control fears. And third, what all of this really tells us about power, secrecy, and how to think clearly in an age where technology can feel like magic. By the end of this video, you'll be able to look at these stories with sharper eyes. You won't be easily fooled, but you also won't be naive about how much influence a small group of people can have. So, get comfortable, because we're about to go inside the world of Elon Musk and the secret tech elite, not as believers, but as investigators. Let's begin our journey with the first part: why someone like Elon Musk, just by existing in the position he's in, becomes the perfect target for secret society theories. When people talk about secret societies, they often think of old images, candlelit rooms, strange symbols, stone lodges, hidden rituals. Names like Freemasons, Illuminati, Skull and Bones, Rosicrucians. Some of these groups really existed, and some still exist in one form or another. Others are more legend than reality. But the core idea behind all of them is simple and powerful. There is a small, organized group with its own rules and secrets, quietly influencing the world. For centuries, this idea has been used to explain revolutions, wars, economic crises, and even cultural trends. When life feels unstable and confusing, it's tempting to believe that somewhere, some group must be pulling the strings. It's easier to imagine a hidden plan than to accept that the world is often chaotic and messy. Now fast forward into the 21st century. Our world is no longer ruled mainly by kings or visible aristocracies. Instead, we have something new: the digital elite, people whose companies and platforms shape reality for billions of us every single day. Think about the names that come to mind instantly: Elon Musk with SpaceX, Tesla X, Neuralink, Starlink; Jeff Bezos with Amazon and Blue Origin; Bill Gates with Microsoft and global health projects; Mark Zuckerberg with Meta, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp; Larry Page and Sergey Brin with Google and the entire history of search and AI development. These people are not just wealthy, they are architects of systems. They build the tools that define how we communicate, how we shop, how we move from place to place, how we consume information, and soon, even how our bodies and brains might interact with machines. When a single decision from one of these individuals can affect your job, your speech online, or your access to technology, it no longer feels like they are just business owners. It feels like they sit a level above ordinary life. They also move in circles we never see: private investor meetings, closed-door conferences, high-level government briefings, exclusive retreats for world leaders and CEOs. These are not necessarily secret societies in the old ritualistic sense, but to most people watching from the outside, they might as well be. A few hundred people in a beautiful, isolated location, making big decisions and having conversations we never hear about. It is very easy for the imagination to take that and fill in the blanks. Then you add someone like Elon Musk into this picture. Elon is not just a businessman. He is presented as a visionary, a prophet of the future. He talks about making life multiplanetary, colonizing Mars, merging the human brain with AI, building global satellite networks, transforming transportation, and changing how free speech works online. Fans see him as a kind of savior of humanity. Critics see him as reckless and dangerous. But to conspiracy theorists, he looks like the perfect modern grand master of a hidden order. His company deal with rockets, satellites, AI, electric cars, social media, and brain-computer interfaces. He attends high-level events and meets with politicians. His tweets are sometimes cryptic, filled with symbols, jokes, and references that invite interpretation. He plays with memes. He talks casually about civilization collapse and the future of consciousness. All of this makes him look more like a character from a sci-fi movie than a normal CEO. When you take all of this together, your brain almost automatically tries to fit it into an older story. That story is a small, special group of people with access to advanced knowledge and technology shaping the destiny of the world. In the past, we called that a secret society. Today, we call it the tech elite. The label changes, but the psychological pattern is the same. Another reason these theories grow so fast is that technology itself feels like magic to most people. Very few of us truly understand how AI works, how a satellite internet system functions, how a brain-computer interface actually reads signals, or how large platforms decide which posts to show and which to hide. When something affects your life every day but is beyond your understanding, it becomes mysterious. And when something is mysterious and controlled by someone else, it easily becomes suspicious. There's also the speed of change. Laws, traditions, and education systems move slowly, but technology races ahead. This creates a gap, a feeling that nobody is really in control of what is happening, except maybe a handful of founders and investors. When you feel powerless and confused, conspiracy theories become a way to turn that feeling into a clean story. They are doing this to us, and they are meeting in secret to plan it. So without anyone needing to wear a hood or light a single candle, our modern world has already created the perfect conditions for secret society rumors. Extreme inequality, powerful private platforms, complex technologies, closed meetings, public messaging that sounds almost religious or prophetic. You do not need a literal underground lodge when you already have corporate boardrooms, private jets, and encrypted group chats. This is why people look at Elon Musk and others and ask, is there more going on than we are allowed to see? Is there some hidden group, some informal brotherhood that coordinates how these people act? Those questions, whether justified or not, are what feed the endless online discussions about tech billionaires and secret societies. Now that we understand why someone like Musk is the perfect target for these ideas, it's time to look directly at the theories themselves. In the next part, we will walk through the biggest claims: Illuminati symbolism, Mars as an escape plan, Neuralink and mind control fears, Starlink and global surveillance, and the idea of a digital new world order driven by multiple tech billionaires. Remember, as we go through these, we are describing what people say and why it appeals to them, not confirming that any of it is true. So let's move into the second part of this journey and open up the conspiracy web around Elon Musk and the tech elite. One of the most widespread ideas floating around online is what we can call the Illuminati Elon theory. It's the classic claim that Elon Musk is not just successful, but is connected to an ancient or modern hidden order, often called the Illuminati, a global cabal or a high-tech version of Freemasonry. People who promote this theory usually point to three main things: the symbols they think they see around him, the scale of his power, and the elite company he keeps. On social media, you will find countless posts that break down logos and images related to Musk. The Tesla logo is rotated and dissected until it looks like some kind of occult symbol. The repeated use of the letter X in SpaceX, XCOM, and the X platform is treated as a hint of secret meaning. Any triangle in the background of a stage design, any strange lighting, any photo with one eye partially hidden is turned into proof that he is signaling membership in a hidden order. From a pattern-seeking point of view, this is very attractive. The human brain is wired to find shapes and meanings even where none exist. If someone is already convinced that the Illuminati exists and controls everything, then every letter, every logo, every pose, and every shadow becomes a sign. Nothing is allowed to be random or just a design choice. When you look at the actual information we have, there is no verified evidence that Elon Musk is a formal member of any traditional occult secret society. There is no public document where he is initiated into the Illuminati. There is no record of him going to secret rituals or lodges. The logos used by his companies, as far as we know from designers and public branding decisions, are based on things like minimalism, futuristic style, and technical imagery, not ancient symbolism. The letter X, for example, is extremely common in technology and science. X-rays, Xbox, X-Files, X-Men, experimental X projects, mathematical variables. It is a strong, simple character that designers love because it looks sharp and powerful. That does not mean it cannot be used symbolically by someone who wants to, but it also means that its existence in a brand does not automatically prove a hidden agenda. So if the hard evidence is not there, why do people still hold on to this Illuminati Elon idea? The answer is that the theory is not really about the exact shape of a logo. It is about the feeling that nobody could possibly become that influential without being part of something bigger. When someone controls rockets, cars, satellites, social media platforms, and brain research, it feels too big to be just one person's story. The Illuminati label becomes a shortcut way of saying, he is in a higher circle of power that we don't get to see. The same pattern appears around Musk's attendance at high-level events or his meetings with presidents and prime ministers. To someone who already believes in a secret global cabal, a photo of him shaking hands with a world leader is not just a business meeting. It becomes a symbol. Here is one of them, moving openly but secretly at the same time. From there, the theories expand. One big branch of speculation connects Musk's space ambitions, especially the dream of colonizing Mars, to the idea of an elite escape plan. In this story, Mars is not a noble mission to save humanity from extinction, but a backup civilization for the ultra-rich and powerful. The narrative goes like this. The global elite knows that climate change, war, economic collapse, or engineered crises are going to make Earth unlivable or very unstable. So quietly and behind the scenes, they are building a new world for themselves off-planet. The public talk about making life multiplanetary is just a cover for making sure the elite have somewhere safe to go. If you pay attention to how some conspiracy creators talk about this, you will hear themes like they will let Earth burn while they escape, or they are using public money and contracts to finance their own lifeboat. The idea is very dramatic, and people are drawn to it because it explains their fear that, in a real disaster, the rich will simply leave everyone else behind. We do know that SpaceX is real, the rockets are real, the plan to eventually reach Mars is openly discussed. We also know that in the real world, wealthy people do sometimes buy unique forms of protection: private islands, underground bunkers, off-grid homes, special access to medical care. So it is not crazy in general to worry that disaster plans will be unequal. But there is currently no solid evidence of a secret, already under construction Mars colony reserved for elites. Colonizing Mars in any form would be incredibly difficult, dangerous, and expensive. The first people there will likely live in extremely harsh conditions, more like a risky research station than a luxury resort. Even if one day there are off-world towns, they will not easily replace the comfort and infrastructure of Earth. So right now, the elite Mars lifeboat idea is mostly a reflection of real inequality fears projected onto space. The next big cluster of theories attaches itself to Neuralink, Elon Musk's brain-computer interface company. Officially, Neuralink's goal is to help people with medical conditions, paralysis, severe neurological disorders, and so on. The idea is to build devices that can read signals from the brain and send signals back, potentially restoring movement, communication, or other functions. On the conspiracy side, though, this quickly turns into talk about mind control, remote influence, or even a kill switch placed directly inside the brain. People claim that once a chip is in your head, those who control the system could force thoughts into you, change your beliefs, shut you down if you resist, or track your every inner impulse. To some, this looks like the perfect tool for a future dictatorship, total control from the inside out. In reality, current brain-computer interface technology is far more limited than these fears suggest. Today, these systems can detect certain patterns in brain activity and translate them into simple commands under controlled conditions. It is a huge scientific achievement, but it is not anywhere close to reading complex thoughts, let alone writing new personalities into someone's mind. Also, these systems are invasive, involve surgery, and are tightly regulated in most countries. However, the fears around Neuralink are not coming from nowhere. Even without science fiction-style mind control, there are serious questions. If a company can read signals from your brain, who owns that data? How is it stored? Can it be hacked? Could a government demand access? You already live in a world where social media algorithms can influence your mood, your time usage, and your political opinions just by choosing what to show you. Imagine that same logic applied to a device directly connected to your nervous system. Even if the technology never reaches sci-fi levels, the potential for abuse and surveillance is real enough to worry about. So again, we see the pattern. The conspiracy theories exaggerate the capabilities and insert a hidden cabal behind them, but they grow from soil that is already rich with real anxiety about privacy, control, and the direction of technology. Another one of Musk's projects that attracts conspiracy attention is Starlink, the satellite internet constellation built by SpaceX. Officially, Starlink is meant to provide broadband internet coverage to parts of the world that are hard to reach with traditional infrastructure. It has been used in remote areas and in conflict zones where ground networks are damaged. For many, it is a symbol of connectivity and resilience. For conspiracy theorists, though, Starlink becomes part of a global surveillance grid. In this narrative, a dense net of satellites above the planet is the perfect tool for tracking everyone's movements, monitoring every signal, and possibly turning internet access on or off for entire regions or specific groups. Some extend this further into weapons fantasies, imagining satellites that could target individuals or cities directly, controlled by a tiny elite group. What we actually know is that any large-scale communication system is indeed politically sensitive. Governments and militaries care deeply about who controls key infrastructure. We also know that in some real conflicts, Starlink access has been negotiated, turned on, turned off, and debated at high levels. That alone shows the enormous leverage that can come from one private company being such a crucial provider in certain situations. But there is still no solid public evidence that Starlink is secretly designed as an all-seeing mass surveillance system run by a hidden order. Most of its operations relate to bandwidth, coverage, and contracts with states and customers. The fear behind the theory is less about one villain with an eye in the sky and more about the idea that critical communication tools might be in the hands of a very small number of people. When a single actor can decide who stays online and who goes dark in a crisis, the power begins to look almost godlike. And the same pattern shows up when people talk about other tech billionaires. Bill Gates is often accused in conspiracy circles of wanting to microchip the population through vaccines. This claim has been repeatedly debunked and has no real evidence behind it. Physically, hiding functional microchips in standard vaccines without anyone in the medical system noticing would be close to impossible with current technology. Yet the story spread wildly during the COVID-19 pandemic because it matched existing fears. Fear of losing bodily autonomy, fear of being tracked, fear of powerful philanthropists influencing global health policy without democratic accountability. Jeff Bezos, through Amazon and Blue Origin, is sometimes portrayed as a builder of a combined empire of space, commerce, and surveillance. People look at Amazon's huge cloud services business, which serves government agencies, plus doorbell cameras, smart home devices, and they imagine an integrated monitoring network. Mark Zuckerberg is often framed as someone who wants to pull humanity into a metaverse, where people live inside a controlled digital reality, with every move watched, every interaction analyzed, and every purchase shaped by algorithms and advertisers. All of these ideas fuse into a bigger, more abstract theory, that tech billionaires collectively form a kind of informal, modern secret order, not necessarily wearing robes or chanting in Latin, but sitting on boards at private conferences, on advisory councils, and in group chats, coordinating how information flows, how AI evolves, and how surveillance is normalized. This is sometimes called, in conspiracy language, a digital new world order. When you step back, you can see how this story is built. It takes real elements, enormous wealth, major platforms, private influence on public policy, a lack of transparency, real cases of surveillance and data abuse, and then connects them with lines that may or may not exist in reality. It turns patterns of overlapping interest and power into a centralized, perfectly coordinated secret society. So where does that leave us? On one side, we have wild claims that are not backed by hard evidence. Ancient Illuminati orders guiding every move, microchips already inside everyone, mind control rays beaming from satellites. On the other side, we have undeniable facts. A small number of unelected, extremely wealthy people do wield huge influence over what we see, what tools we use, and how our data is collected. The truth is more subtle, but also in many ways more disturbing because it doesn't rely on magic, just on money, networks, and technology. Now it's time to move into the third and final part of this video. Let's leave the specific theories behind and talk about what they really mean. Why do our minds create these stories? How much secrecy is actually normal in a system like ours? And how can you think critically about Elon Musk, tech billionaires, and secret society narratives without falling into blind trust or pure paranoia? To understand why secret society theories are so sticky, you have to look inside human psychology. When life feels unstable, people reach for stories that make the chaos feel organized. It is emotionally easier to believe that a small, powerful group is in control, even if that group is evil, than to accept that no one is fully in control, that history is shaped by a messy mix of accidents, trends, greed, fear, and random events. Secret society narratives give people three very attractive things. First, a single villain or group to blame. Instead of facing a complex system, you can say, it's them. Second, a pattern that explains everything. Every event becomes a move on their chessboard. Third, a feeling of special knowledge. Believing you see through the illusion gives you a sense of superiority in a confusing world. The modern internet amplifies all of this. Algorithms on social media reward content that is emotional, surprising, and engaging. Conspiracy content is exactly that. It shocks you, it scares you, it makes you click. So once you watch a few videos about Elon Musk and secret societies, you are likely to be shown more and more of them, building an echo chamber where everything starts to look connected and confirmed. There is another modern factor: parasocial relationships. Many people feel like they know public figures like Elon Musk because they see them online every day. They read their tweets, watch their interviews, hear constantly about their successes and scandals. This can turn billionaires into symbols in people's minds. For some, Elon becomes a hero, a warrior against what they see as a corrupt establishment. For others, he becomes a villain, a symbol of reckless capitalism. In both cases, he stops being just a complex, flawed human and becomes a character in a story. Once someone becomes a symbol, it is much easier to exaggerate everything around them. Every business decision becomes a plan. Every brand choice becomes a signal. Every difficulty becomes proof of attack from other secret forces. The person disappears and the story takes over. At the same time, it is important to remember that not all secrecy is imaginary. Real power does involve real privacy and real backroom negotiations. Corporate boards meet in private. Governments hold classified briefings. Intelligence agencies sign secret contracts with tech companies. Algorithms that control your feed are considered trade secrets and are not fully revealed. Data agreements between companies can be buried in long legal documents that almost nobody reads. You don't need a hooded ritual for this to count as hidden power. If decisions that affect millions or billions of people are made in rooms we cannot enter, using tools we cannot inspect, that is a form of secrecy. It is not the same as a fictional Illuminati lodge, but it can feel very similar from the outside. The line between a secret society and a closed network of powerful people can be more about aesthetics than about impact. So how can you navigate this space without getting lost? One useful approach is to hold two ideas at the same time. The first idea is extreme, detailed, supernatural-sounding conspiracy theories usually require more coordination, competence, and silence than human beings are capable of. The second idea is concentrated power in the hands of a few actors, operating through complex and often opaque systems, is very real and very worthy of scrutiny. In practical terms, that means you should always demand evidence for extreme claims. If someone says, "This logo proves Elon is in the Illuminati," ask them, "Where is the solid proof?" If someone says, "There is already a secret Mars colony," ask, "Where are the photos, the leaked documents, the whistleblowers with verifiable information?" If the only foundation for a claim is emotion, low-resolution screenshots, and long chains of "what if," be careful. At the same time, you can and should pay attention to things that are documented. For example, real lobbying records, real contracts between tech companies and governments, real reports on data breaches, real investigations into how AI systems are trained, how content moderation works, how space projects are funded. These are not as flashy as a hidden lodge, but they tell you more about how power operates in the real world. Another helpful question to ask is, do I need to imagine a perfect secret society to explain this, or can normal human motivatio? And S like greed, fear, ambition, laziness, and short-term thinking explain it just as well. Most scandals, even very big ones, turn out to be a mix of selfishness and incompetence, not perfect chess moves by a flawless master. People in power are still people. They make mistakes, they fight each other, they leak information, they change their minds. When it comes specifically to Elon Musk and tech billionaires, a balanced view might sound like this. Yes, these individuals have a dangerous level of influence over critical systems. Yes, they move in private networks that regular citizens cannot easily see or join. Yes, there are real ethical dangers in projects like neural interfaces, satellite networks, and AI platforms. But no, there is currently no solid proof that they are part of a unified, centuries-old secret order that controls every major event on Earth. The real question you might ask yourself is not, are they in a secret society, but something more practical. How much control should any one person or any one private company be allowed to have over space, over the internet, over data, over the human body, and over information? That is a question about laws, regulations, public pressure, and democratic oversight, not about rituals and symbols. If we focus only on dramatic secret society stories, we might actually miss the most important battles. While we are arguing about triangles and logos, decisions are being made about data privacy, AI regulation, corporate mergers, satellite licensing, and public funding for private space projects. Those things shape the world you live in far more than any hidden handshake. So as you think about Elon Musk and the tech elite, try to keep your eyesight sharp in both directions. Don't blindly trust them as saviors, and don't automatically demonize them as cartoon villains inside a hidden lodge. See them as powerful players in a system that urgently needs more transparency, more accountability, and more public participation. Now I want to turn this back to you. After hearing all of this, where do you stand? Do you think the secret society stories are mostly a modern myth, a way for people to express fear and confusion? Or do you believe there really is a deeper, hidden structure, an informal order that connects tech billionaires, governments, and global institutions in ways we are not allowed to see? Tell me your thoughts in the comments. Do you see Elon Musk as just an ambitious entrepreneur, as a dangerous concentration of power, or as the public face of something much more secret? If you found this deep dive interesting and you want more content exploring secret societies, elite networks, and the hidden side of modern power, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you don't miss the next episode. Share this with a friend who always sends you conspiracy videos and ask them what they think after watching. You've been listening to the secret society conspiracy theories around Elon Musk and tech billionaires. This is your guide into the shadows of modern power. Until next time, stay curious, stay critical, and remember, sometimes the scariest secrets are not in underground lodges, but in the code, the contracts, and the connections we're never invited to see.